What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden, and we are going to be shifting gears today. Got back from Vegas. I know that the motor and stuff needs to come out of the Modified before we can go racing that thing again, but it currently is still inside the enclosed trailer, and my pickup is being borrowed by my brother. He needed it to tow his car that broke down on his way into work, unfortunately. So that is out, but he did manage to bring me something to work on while I'm waiting for him to get done using my truck and stuff. That's right, look what's back, the Tuff Truck. We're going to be trying to get ready for a Tuff Truck Race coming up, so got a lot to do. Let's get to work. All right, so like I said, there's going to be a Tuff Truck Race. I believe it's going to be Yuba City, California, on the 13th of March. That gives me 3 weeks, I believe it is, to get my truck ready. There's a handful of things that need to happen here. Of course, we do things a little different in Fallon, and we do full contact, and I managed to crush this in pretty good, so that fender will be coming off and getting straightened out as much as I can. We took a shot back here. We'll try to get all that stuff straightened out. Maybe do some more paint. If you guys remember in the last videos, we were just trying to paint what we could when we got there, and you know, all that happy stuff. But hopefully we'll be able to figure out paint, make it look nice, do some body work. One of the other major things that we're going to do is the fuel system. We are going to upgrade the fuel system. You guys know that I got that Edelbrock carburetor on there, and I continue to have issues, so we're just gonna basically replace the entire fuel system, starting with getting rid of the stock tank, and hopefully we will be putting in a fuel cell. I do have an old fuel cell sitting right here. You guys might have remembered me bringing that home a long time ago. The can itself is like rusted out completely. But I think the plastic can inside it's good. Hopefully that's going to be the case. If the plastic can inside it is good, we're probably going to use that rather than going and buying a new one. Hopefully that's going to work. But on top of that, we did get a little crazy. I'm kind of tired of having fuel issues, so I want to show you guys what's going to go on there. Boom. The Holley Sniper EFI setup, so it'll be getting a throttle body Holley Sniper kit set on top of it. It's a little ridiculous and kind of overkill, but you know, I figured I'd give it a shot and see what happens, and then that way, if something does happen to the engine on this truck ever and we decide to rebuild, replace, we can put something a little beefier in there. This Holley Sniper setup is good for I believe up to 650 horses, so which this stock motor does not have. I think we're gonna be lucky if this this 351 that's in here, the stock one, is got, I think we'll be lucky if it's got 200 horses. I'm not really sure on that, so hopefully that works out. But also going to try to figure out tires and wheels, or at least tires. Probably use the same wheels. Might make them look nicer. Hopefully I have time to do all that. And then the other thing we got to do is, if you look down there, the end of that, There used to be a bump stop right there. Same thing with over here. There used to be a bump stop right there. They made contact a couple times and then got ripped off. So hopefully going to figure out a better bump stop system. And I think as far as the truck goes, that's probably going to be about it. We have started the truck and let it run, and my fan has not been coming on, so I wonder if I have a ground issue or something like that. So probably be looking at the fan and cooling system on this truck as well once we go through and do all this crazy stuff. So welcome back aboard the Tuff Truck train. Whoop whoop. And hopefully we can get all this stuff done before we got to go down to Yuba, California, for their they got, I forget what it's called, their fair, Yuba fair, something like that. Here, give me a second. It is called their Spring Extreme is what it's going to be called. It's the name of the event down in Yuba City, California. So yeah, hopefully we can get everything done. I know that the Holly Sniper has some learn time that it's gonna have, so hopefully we'll be able to get out and go drive the truck after we get everything installed and be able to rock and roll. Okay, so for right now, I don't have a whole lot of time before I got to go do something else, but I'm working on, I got that fender that was all crushed in off. This was bent back this way. There was a gap here. All I did was tap this up to where it was touching, but that piece of angle is nice and twisted, plus this mount's twisted. We'll have to see if I can get that just kind of beat to fit, paint to match, to see if I can get it to work again. This mount for the fender was tweaked out. I tapped it in a little bit. We'll see where that goes as well, but hopefully by the end of it, it'll look something like this side, like it did before. And I've been beating out dents on the fender itself. Already looks a lot better than it did. This whole thing was crushed. This whole thing area here was crushed down and in, and there was a bunch more back here, a bunch more dents and stuff, but we'll see if I can get some of that stuff tapped out. I am not a body and fender guy at all, and again, this is a Tuff truck, so really I'm just trying to get it to look like a truck again, and we'll be happy with that. The good news is, since this is a Tuff truck and we kind of did it the way that we did it, you know, later on if fenders get too smashed up to where they're not salvageable anymore, go to the junkyard, find some more fenders, gut them, throw them back on, you know what I mean? So right now that's what I'm doing. I know it's kind of it's not really one of the major items on the list, but it is still something that's on the list that needs to get done. So I got dinner plans coming up here pretty soon, so I'm going to be working on that. Until then, hopefully that'll be done. You guys don't need to see me just beating on stuff, so I'm not really going to film it. Alrighty, did some paint to fit, beat to match outside on that fender, but it's still not 100% yet, and it's dark outside. So showed you guys earlier this rust of a ball of a tank of a something or other here. Hopefully the plastic can inside is still good. I brought it into the garage, and that's what I'm going to do right now is start stripping all of this old junk can off, getting it cleaned up, and then I think I'm probably going to try pressure testing it just to make sure that there's no holes in the actual plastic bladder that's inside it. This thing is like, man, I think 20 years old or more. And it's been in a circle. It was in a modified and then sat outside, and yeah, this thing's old. This actually, I think this thing was old before I got it a long time ago. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start stripping this thing apart so I can check and see if the bladder's still going to be usable. Hopefully we can get it cleaned up to use for the Tuff Truck. Well, that took longer than I thought it was going to. Made quite the mess. Rusted out bottom, rusted out can. And here's our plastic bladder. Yeah, I got to get the top put back together and sealed up to be able to pressure test it. So I think that's going to be one of the next steps. I'm going to have to get all that foam out of there. I'm sure it's all, ooh, yeah, it smells terrible. But the foam, yeah, the foam just is coming apart super easy. So all that foam's got to come out. The inside of this is going to need to be cleaned out. That is, if it passes the pressure test. Well, one thing done. Kind of. Partially done, I guess. Alrighty, new day here. That's the old shell of the fuel cell. Got this thing out, cleaned up. I still got to wipe out the inside, but other than that, it's fairly clean. This is the flange that goes on the inside. This is a little flapper, rollover flapper, so it'll help keep fuel from, if you ever go up on your lid, go upside down, it'll help keep fuel from coming out of the cap. But anyways, got that. Now I'm kind of, that's huge. I think that's 32 gallons. This was like a 14 or 16 gallon tank back here, and I was running it full. So that's a lot of weight. I'm just not 100% sure if I'm going to try to mount it right back here where the fuel cell was, try to mount it farther forward. I'm not 100% sure. I think part of what's gonna decide that is I kind of really want to put this truck on a set of scales. It wouldn't be 100% honest because I have different tire sizes on each corner, but it would get me a good idea on whether I need that fuel cell as far back as I can get it, or if I can put it, you know, more centered up there. Issues with running a giant fuel cell like that is it's a lot more weight, right? It's it being a lot more weight, putting it back here behind the tires will make it swing like a pendulum when I'm going around corners. I mean, it's awesome to have the weight to increase my rear percentage since I don't have a bed or anything back here, right? But it also, I think it's pretty tall, so it's going to move a lot of my weight upwards and give me a higher center of gravity. So all things to think about, but I think I have this weird feeling that no matter what I do, it's either going to end up mounted up there, but up high so it clears the drive line and the exhaust, or it's going to end up mounted back here, down, kind of not way down low, but more down into the frame rail area than it would be if it was up there. So we're just going to kind of have to wait and see. Like I said, I kind of want to put it on a set of scales just to see what the truck looks like. Don't know. Other things to think about when adding a bunch of weight to the back of this thing is my shocks and springs. that I got on here. We were talking about, by we, I mean I was chatting with my dad, talking about needing to soften up the back springs a little bit more. Well, if I were to soften the springs and add more weight, the weight that I add might overcome the springs that I got back there. So I might end up just putting more weight on here, and that'll basically in effect soften the springs. But it is a lot more weight to swing around, bounce around, move around. So the lighter the truck is, the faster it is, right? So that's the only other huge downfall. But hey, you know what? It's this is a fuel cell I had laying around, and I've been pricing out new fuel cells, and they were like $300 for a plastic bladder with steel can. So they're not cheap. $300-400. 310 I think was a 16-gallon RCI fuel cell that I found, and that's the other 16-gallon ones were like $400 and higher, and that one fuel cell didn't have a return line like what I'm gonna need. So it's kind of where I'm at. This needs to have a breather, it needs to have a fuel out, and it also needs to have a line for return, which this fuel cell already does. See, look, 1, 2, 3. So kind of where I'm at. I need to go get, I'm not even gonna mess with it or chance it. This deal right here, this is a rubber gasket to help seal it. I think they're like 18 bucks, but this thing is stuck on the old lid. So I'm gonna go get me a new gasket, and then I also think that since I don't have a finger brake to be able to make, I'll kind of give you an idea, these cool all these different bends next to other bends and things like that, to be able to make a proper can, like make a full pan bottom and stuff like that. Since I don't have that ability, I think what I'm going to end up doing is, instead of making a can that goes around the fuel cell, I'm going to make a mount that the fuel cell goes into, and then I'm going to cover the mount instead. So whether I use pieces of angle for the bottom and the ups and the cap and stuff like that, I think I'm going to end up putting like I guess this would be an example here. This is a chunk of aluminum from when I was making my nose on the Modified, but so I'd make the frame and then sheet metal out the frame after it's made. That'll give the plastic can some protection from any rocks, debris, whatever coming its way, which is really the only reason. I mean, I could probably get away with just having the plastic fuel cell, running the plastic bladder. There are lots of people that do that. I just don't feel comfortable with that, since it's kind of out in the open. We're doing tough truck stuff, so lots of dirt getting flung at it, rocks getting flung at it, things like that. So yeah, I'm probably gonna make the frame and then sheet metal it in, but for right now I'm gonna run to the parts store, get my seals, and then I think it's time for me to start pulling apart the old fuel system. Ooh, that's gonna be fun. So I gotta drop the old fuel tank over here. That won't really be too bad. Just disconnect it and whatnot, and then I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, so this is a strap It's got like little fastener on this side. That upper strap will come off, and then I think it's just a bolt, yep, and a bolt to do the bottom strap, and then we're gonna get the tank dropped down or picked up or whatever out of there. I think there's still fuel in it. Actually, I know there's still fuel in it. How much fuel, I don't know. So that might be heavy, but gonna get the tank dropped out. Gonna start getting some of the old fuel lines out of the way, and then yeah, I think that's gonna be the goal for now. Alrighty, so tank is out. We got a nice big open space here. Don't mind my pry bar sticking through the frame there, but frame or fuel tank is out, and now we're ready to start. Well, I think I'm gonna clean it up. Yeah, I better spray it down, clean it up, get all this dirt and stuff out of here. But I think I've decided to go ahead and mount the fuel cell right in this area. Maybe get it down a little bit, and then from there I'll just play with my weights by adding and subtracting fuel and going from there, you know. So that's going to be it for this video. I think it's getting kind of long, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, comments, concerns down below. We got a lot more to do on this Tuff Truck, so stay tuned. And I think in the midst of working on all this, we're going to be working on the Modified too. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next video.